Hey everybody, Flyersguy here, and I have an announcement regarding my YouTube series, Classic Flyers Theater with Flyersguy. And that announcement is there will be a 300th episode of Classic Flyers Theater, and that episode will be coming on July 24th at 5 p.m. It'll be premiering on my YouTube channel as I celebrate 300 episodes of Classic Flyers Theater. What I have planned is a surprise. If you want to find out about what it is, then you're going to have to wait until July 24th at 5 p.m. to see the premiere of the 300th episode of Classic Flyers Theater here on my YouTube channel. And the only place you can watch that is exclusively on the Flyersguy YouTube channel. So get ready to celebrate 300 episodes of Classic Flyers Theater on July 24th, on Thursday, July 24th at 5 p.m. That's July 24th at 5 p.m. My 300th episode will be making its premiere exclusively on the Flyersguy YouTube channel. Hey everybody, it's me, Flyersguy, and welcome to another episode of Throwback Flyersguy. In my last episode, I talked about my memories of 2002 and 2003. In this video, I'm going to talk about my memories of 2003 and 2004. 2003 wrapped up on Christmas. Not on Christmas, it all started on Christmas that year. That year, I remember I got a Jeremy Roenick Philadelphia Flyers jersey and a Santa sack with 2 tickets to the Flyers Atlanta Thrashers game, and also a Gold Flyers necklace and chain. And I also got a media guide as well. I also got a couple of games for the Xbox and the PS2. With New Year's gone, it was a whole new year. During that new year, I got a lot of gift certificates for Christmas that year. So me and my dad, we went out to spend them. We went to the mall, which was I'm not sure if it was the Oscar Valley or the Willow Grove Mall, but we went to the Willow Grove Mall, and I bought some games. I got Monster Rancher 5 for the PS2, True Crime, Streets of LA for the Xbox, and NHL Rivals for the Xbox. It was a pretty, and I played those games and I had a lot of fun playing those games. In January, everything seemed to be okay with me. I didn't feel sick, I didn't feel tired, but mid-January, my lung function started to catch up with me. As my lungs started to get weaker and weaker. And I thought nothing of it. One day I was feeling really good one day. I had roast beef for dinner. and it was really good. Then weeks later, around January or sometime around February, yeah, late January, not late January, late January into February, was sent to the hospital, and I officially had pneumonia from the first time in my life. And I had to get rushed to Children's Hospital, which was the hospital I was going to at the time. And a lot of changes in my life occurred. And one of those changes was after I had pneumonia for many, many weeks in the hospital. When I was in the hospital, I remember watching the Cosby Show, I watched Cartoon Network, I was watching Dragon Ball GT or some shit, and I think I was watching Nickelodeon as well, and also Kids WB, I was watching Yu-Gi-Oh! And I remember one day I was eating a glazed donut, I forget if it was from Krispy Kreme or Dunkin' Donuts, but I really enjoyed it. That time in the hospital, I had to do many breathing treatments so they could fix my lung functions. And there were days where I had to turn on my side to alleviate pressure in my lungs. So I also remember I was watching a Flyers game. The Philadelphia Flyers were taking on the Buffalo Sabres. The Flyers won that game, I think it's 6-5. I think it was a 6-4 victory over the Buffalo Sabres. But I spent my time in the hospital, usually eating pizza and french fries, and I kept eating that like every day for some reason. Once February came, one of my aides that I knew at Widener came to visit me. Our classroom aides came to visit me. He knew me very well. His name was, and he came to the hospital. And he did the funniest thing. He said the funniest thing to my mother when she was there with me. So I think my dad was at work at the time. And also, I mentioned, not to mention, I was also playing a Yu-Gi-Oh game for the game we advanced as well, which I got that for Christmas as well. I forgot to mention that. And I also got Super Mario Advance, I think it might have been the first one, Mario 3, I forget. And an e-reader, which I had no use for. I used it once, and I didn't know how to use it, so I just kind of gave up on it. And so he came to visit, and he's a friend of mine, and he comes in, and mind you that he's African American. But I just want to tell us, Serge is so funny. He comes in and he goes, "Daddy's here," and the nurses look at him like they were like surprised. But I thought that was the funniest thing Mr. Will, and the funniest thing he ever said. Mr. Will was a funny guy, and one of my favorite people at Wagner. The guy was hilarious. The guy can make you laugh so hard, seriously. The guy had a gift of making people laugh. So he brought in, he taped the Royal Rumble for me. I watched it and I enjoyed it. I was surprised. I was so happy that Eddie Guerrero won the Royal Rumble. Because at the time I was a huge Eddie Guerrero fan. During that year I was watching a lot of WWE at that time and I enjoyed it. So many weeks passed, and I finally was able to get out of the hospital. And my first day back home, I think I remember when I got home for dinner, I had KFC that night. When I came home, everyone was really happy to see me. I think my neighbors, they yelled out the window, "Hey Tim, Good to have you back. It's good to be back, I said. So on the way home, I was listening to some of my music CDs, which I got for Christmas that year. And we were driving home, and for dinner I had KFC that night. And when I got home, I was on some new equipment. They put me on a iPad machine at the time. And they also gave me a IPV machine, which is a breathing treatment that has albuterol in it. And also, what else did they send me? What else did they send home for me? What else did they send home? They sent me a BiPAP and a chlorpholator as well. The chlorpholator helps break up anything that's inside the lungs, so it makes it easier to get it up. I'm sorry for talking about this, but all this medical stuff. But that's what happened when I got home. For a couple of weeks, it was a whole week of relaxing. I had my grandma come visit me. My Uncle Paul came to visit me. A lot of people came over to visit me that day. And it was a week of relaxing. And at the time, I had a craving for Quiznos subs at that time. And I really like Quiznos because they toast the subs. And they're just really good. And they were good when they first came in. But then they just started to really fall off the years later. So I was on a Quiznos kick. I got like a toasted Italian sub with hot peppers and some pickles on the side, and I got some of those little tiny peppers that are kind of similar to the ones that they have at Papa John's. And I was on a Quiznos kick. I ate like half of it, and then for a snack at night, I ate the other half, and I really enjoyed it. I mean, the spicy food really helped my lung function, and you eat spicy food, it helps your lung function a lot better. So 1 week later, I was able to go outside, and I was greeted by all my friends in the neighborhood. They were so glad to see me back again. And I was chilling at my friend Sean's house. Rest R.I.P. Sean passed away many years ago. I miss that guy. Guy was hilarious. He was a good guy. I miss him every day. So we were chilling at his house, and it was a pretty fun time. We were having a great time. I really enjoyed everything about that. So with the month of February, on the books, I think it might have been late February, I was able to go back to school. And my friends at my school were happy to see me back at school again. That said, at the time, they were testing us. We had to take these tests. It's some kind of SAT test things. And our class, did so well that we won, a pizza party, which was really cool. We actually did really good on the SATs. And, I hate the SATs. I was never really good at them. But I learned a lot. And at the time, we had a different history teacher. I forget what her name was. Our other history teacher, Miss Diamante, was, I think she was on, a sabbatical or something. And we had, a substitute teacher. It was really fun. I enjoyed going back to school. And then we get to the month of, I think it might have been around either February or March that me and my dad, we had our tickets. We got for Christmas for our Flyersguy game. And it was Fair Appreciation Night. Flyers, Thrashers, and we had tickets to that game. We went to the game, and this is my first Flyers game in a while. After getting back from pneumonia, my mom and my dad were a little nervous about me going to it. But the night before, I was fine. I felt pretty good the night before. And I remember watching a lot of weird shows on UPN, and I forget what they were called. There was one show called The Mullets, and another show about like video game characters. And I was also watching a WrestleMania special on there as well. At the time, WrestleMania was a big thing. So we arrived at a game, and we get our seats. We had handicap seating behind the Atlanta Thrashers goalie. At the time, their goaltender that day was Classic Yarman, and the Flyers. They traded to get Sean Burke as a backup goaltender. Most recently, Sean Burke as a backup goaltender. He did okay, but he let a lot of soft goals go in. Before the game started, they had a presentation, fan appreciation for all the fans there. And it was a fun game. Flyers ended up winning that game. Gagne with a penalty shot goal. Flyers get the win. They beat the Thrashers. I think it was a 6-4 victory, I think. I forget, but it was a fun game, and I was glad to be back. Then we got into the month of March again. And during that time, in March, we also had tickets to a Flyers Devils game, and Flyers ended up winning that. As soon as we got into the month of April, I remember we get to March. I remember I went to school in March one day, and a lot of the kids in my class went camping with the gym teacher, Mr. Marino. May he rest in peace. I miss that guy. He was a great teacher, very friendly guy. It's just something. I miss the guy. He was a good dude. And during that time, I went home. That day, got on the bus, went home. Got ready to watch the Flyers. All of a sudden, it was game. And let me tell you, it was a fight-filled game. That game was freaking crazy. That game was crazy. So many penalty minutes. Flyers ended up winning that game. And I remember later around sometime February or March, I went to a few Flyers games. Went to the Flyers Devils game. And we all went to a Flyers Rangers game. They ended up winning that game. And late that month, around I think it might have been around March, I ended up right back in the hospital again. I accidentally ended up dehydrating myself. And because I went to the hospital because of dehydration, I stayed there for a day. I was able to go home the day after that. When I got home for dinner, I had hot wings, and I rented a few games. One of the games was Ninja Gaiden for the Xbox. Had a lot of fun with that one. Went to a Rangers game one day. I didn't feel well, but after that I was feeling pretty good. I had a sheet sticker there on that day. And we go into the month of April, and the Philadelphia Flyers are in the playoffs. Me and my dad have tickets to one of the games in April. It's a playoff game against the New Jersey Devils. Against the New Jersey Devils. Flyers win that game. And I think Flyers were able to advance in the series. I remember listening to Game 5 with my friends outside on the radio, and Flyers ended up winning that game. And they won the series, and they went on to the next round against the Maple Leafs. Flyers won 2 games against the Leafs. And I remember one day, we all decided to go to the Blue Mall. Me, my mom, my dad, my sister and my grandma. We went to the Lone Grove Mall, ate at Ruby Tuesdays. I'm going to tell you, Ruby Tuesdays, there's always freezing in there. So we really weren't that hungry. Bought a few games. I bought some some kind of Army Combat game, and also a Xbox, and a copy of Xbox Magazine, which came with a demo disc of Alias, the video game. And I also bought a copy of Pokemon, and bought Ruby and Sapphire. Had a lot of fun with that one. And at the time I was playing SmackDown Here Comes the Pain. Flyersguy, maybe the first two games. And I forget what happened, Flyers. I think they lost the next game. They won game 4. And then lost game 5. And I think we went down to game 6. At the time, I was not feeling well at the time. I think I was staying home that day, and I watched the game on TV. Jeremy Roenick got the overtime game-winning goal. In game 6, then the Flyers advanced to the 3rd round against the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Flyers lost the first game in Tampa, won the second game in Tampa, lost game 3, won game 4. That was a game that I went to with my dad. Flyers won that game. And then there was, after that I ended up hanging out with my friends on Lawndale, just talking about the game. And some asshole kid, I don't know what his name was. I didn't even know the kid. Took my Flyers hat, threw it on the ground, and stomped on it and told me that the Flyers suck. And that was my first taste of Flyers hate that I've ever faced in my life. I was really upset about that, but I got over it. The kid was an asshole. I don't know why he did it. So, then the Flyers ended up losing game 5. And then the Flyers, there's a game 6, and the day of game 6, I was in school that day, and this was a surprise. I got home, and during the day, I wasn't feeling like myself that day. I think I might have been a little dehydrated that day. Drank some Gatorade, and I felt pretty good, and I was ready to go to the game with my dad that day. I got home, he had 2 tickets to the Flyers Tampa Bay Lightning game 6. And me and my dad drove down there, and we were actually on TV. And they had Daily News live on there. We were on TV. We were outside at the block party that they have for playoff games, and the block party was so lively. We get inside the building. It is packed, and the fans are going nuts. The game's starting. There's celebrities inside the arena. At that game, I had some nachos with cheese and salsa. I think I ended up having some boardwalk fries. I think I had a funnel cake as well. The game was amazing. The game goes into overtime. Drew Primo, he ties it up in the 3rd period. Simone Gagne wins the game for the Philadelphia Flyers. And the Flyers, they got a game 7 coming up. The next day, I had prom the next night, and my voice is shot. I mean, I can talk, but my voice is raspy as hell. And for the prom, my prom date was a friend of my sister's, named Olivia. Very nice girl, very kind-hearted person. She's also a firefighter, and probably one of my favorite people to talk to. She is such a nice girl. We go to the prom. We have a pretty fun time. The food's good. The music's good. The atmosphere is great. And I'm just talking to everybody about the game last night. And everyone just was excited. And everyone was so hopeful that day that the Flyers we're gonna win Game 7 and advance to Stanley Cup Finals. We get to that day of Game 7, and it's an epic disappointment for the Philadelphia Flyers. An epic loss for the Philadelphia Flyers. Eliminated, but that season was a fun season and one of the best seasons I've ever witnessed in all my years of being a Flyers fan. Unfortunately, this was the last season until the season after that. I'll explain it later. So after that, the summer starts up. It's officially June. And the school year's ended, and we have the end of the year already in school. And we're playing video games, having cheesesteaks, and just having a wonderful time. Shortly after that, the school year officially ends. I rented a few games that day. Grand Theft Auto, Vice City for the Xbox, and then the Harry Potter games for the Xbox as well. I have a lot of fun with those games. Going to the month of June, fast forward to July, and we go down the shore. We have the same house that we had last year, and a really nice house. Same crew comes down. I don't think Jeremy and Jose came down that year. My Uncle Paul was there. My grandmom came down. My cousin Matt came down. It was a really fun time. We went to the boardwalk. Had a fun time. My nephew was there with us. We played a lot of video games. And we went to the beach a couple of times. And we also went to this restaurant. I forget what it's called. But it's a really nice burger place next to the Seattle Boardwalk. And they have really good burgers, good french fries, just all around good food. And after 2 weeks down the shore, our vacation ends. We get into the month of August. Around August, I rented a game. I bought a game, Backyard Wrestling. It was the first Backyard Wrestling video game. I also remember that year I bought Super Mario Brothers for Game Boy Advance. At the time they were coming out, classic NES games, the for Game Boy Advance. And I got Mario Brothers. Then a week later I went and I got Donkey Kong as well. We reserved. I also remember buying a copy of NHL 2K5. And during that time, news broke out that there would not be a Flyer season in 04-05. And that was pretty sad. NHL 2K5 was a fun video game. I also remember around September, around August, we reserved a copy of Pokemon Fire Red for the Game Boy Advance. And when we reserved it, they gave us a free, book to tell us about what the game would be like. So eventually, in September, we were able to go and pick the game up. I bought the game, and I immediately fell in love with that game. That game was awesome. I love that game. I also remember one day going to watch an Eagles game at my friend Pat's house in the backyard. They had the TV on, and they were watching the Eagles game. We were all just hanging out. And during that time, we were just hanging out and chilling all the time. It was a pretty fun time. And then I had the game with me, I was playing it, and we had a wedding coming up that month, and it was a fun wedding. The dancing was cool. We all had a great time, and we all just had fun talking. I really enjoyed seeing my cousin Tommy Norman. He has so many interesting stories. I like talking to him. I just like seeing my aunts and uncles. we get into the month of October, and during this time, I went to Hooters with my cousin Jay, and it was really fun. The girls were really pretty. The girls were really, really very beautiful girls that work at Hooters, by the way. Very sexy ladies. And we got some wings and some french fries. We took some wings home and some Hooters hot sauce as well. In October, I was on a hot sauce kick. I put that on everything. It was delicious. And I remember at the time I was watching Viva La Bam on TV, and during the month of October, I was really sick at the time. And for a few days, and I remember my dad buying me a couple of Green Day CDs. He got me Dookie and American Idiot. They were great albums. The month of October, I remember watching Viva La Bam and eating a Tano's hoagie. And I remember getting NHL 2005 for the PS2. And at the time during this lockout, there was no Flyers hockey. The only hockey we had was the Philadelphia Phantoms. Me and my dad got tickets to a lot of Phantoms games. That year I remember going to a game against the Hamilton Bulldogs, which was the season opener. And then a game against the Hershey Bears against the Hamilton Bulldogs. That was a fun game. I had a lot of fun playing my NHL 2005 as well. Flames won the home opener. Then we get into the month of November, and we had Thanksgiving in my house that year. And on Black Friday, we went to a Philadelphia Phantoms Hershey Bears game with my nephew AJ. Me and my dad, my sister Megan, my nephew AJ, and we had a lot of fun at that game. It was a fun time. We all enjoyed it. And we all enjoyed it. And then I remember also in October I had an allergic reaction to something. I wasn't feeling well, so I was taking this medication and I was itchy all over the place. It was so annoying and so uncomfortable. And then we get into December. We get to end December. We get to my birthday, December 8th, 2004. For my birthday, I got a Dead or Alive game from the Xbox from my cousin Matt. SmackDown vs. Raw, the first SmackDown vs. Raw game. And Rocky Legends for the Xbox. It was a fun time that day. And shortly after that, in mid-December, I got really sick one day. I just had a really nagging cough one day. A couple of days later, I felt pretty good. I remember I was getting ready to sing in some play. I went to some school. I forget what school it was. It was Central High School. And we were performing. And I was supposed to sing, but never really got a chance to for some reason. After that, we get to December. We have our end of the year holiday party that year. And we had hot wings and all kinds of stuff. We played video games as well. And when I was at school at the time, and it was 12th grade, my graduation year. We get into December, and we get into Christmas. I forget what games I got for Christmas that year. But it was a fun time. It was Christmas 2005. And it was so much fun. I enjoyed it. I had fun. And it was a good time. And then we had After Christmas on New Year's Eve, my cousins came to visit, and we all just hung out, played video games, and watched TV. That year for Christmas, I remember getting Def Jam Flight from New York, Street Fighter Anniversary Collection, and many other great video games that year on Christmas. On New Year's Eve, my cousins came to visit. We all hung out, played video games, watched the Phantoms a couple of days in December, watched a few episodes of South Park after Christmas, and I also Christmas. I got Dragon Ball Z Blues Fury, which I ended up beating. It was a fun game. I ended up also getting a Mortal Kombat game for Christmas as well, but I'm not really gonna have to play that game that well. And I also had San Andreas for the PS2. That was a fun game. After that, and that is it for my memories of 2003 and 2004. Guys, thank you for joining me, and I'll see you in the next episode. The next episode, I'll be talking about my memories of 2004 and 2005. I'll see you guys next time.